Welcome to Post Fame Plus, bonus content from Almost Famous Enough. It's like Post Fame, but also Plus, with Alexi and Glen.
No, I was just gonna. I don't want to. We don't need to do a cheesy intro. This is
Get out of here.
cheeky. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, this is episode 3 of our summer series, Post Fame Plus. Hi, Lexi.
Oh, hi.
We're trying some new things out. Not always super successfully, but that's okay. We're gonna work some of this stuff out. But
Yep.
quickly, once again, 4-part series in the summer. We are doing some song exchange where one person brings a song, one person brings an album. We've done 2 weeks of these. We flipped the seats back around.
Yes.
This week, back to you taking a song to share, a single song, and I'm going to share an album.
Yeah.
So that means you get to go first?
I think so. Is that how we did it?
I think that's what that means. I think
Okay.
that's what that means, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's awesome then. Okay. I feel like this is the best song that I've given up on the podcast so far. I'll start strong saying that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, big
Yeah.
swing again.
Big swing
love it.
again. Yeah, and I considered this is so terrible because you know how all 4 I am with like music sharing and just like putting other people on and that whole culture. And I'm so against the whole like jokey, like gatekeepy stuff. There was a part of me that was like, I don't really want to share this because if people start listening, like it's not my little niche song anymore. But I got over myself. So it's okay.
Hold on. Are you suggesting that you think you might gatekeep a band for the whole world?
Not for the whole world, but just for like the community that I'm in. And I
Okay.
literally okay, I'll start with the backstory before I say it, because it's more fun that way. But when I was in Europe last summer, I flew there alone, met a friend, traveled a little bit backpacking. When I was there, I was like dating, kind of talking to Eric, who's now like my current boyfriend, and he sent me this song, and it was one of the first that he had ever really sent me, and it just like mimicked my whole trip, like encapsulated my entire Europe trip and the experience that I had so perfectly. And I instantly, like, I played it so much when I was there. I remember I was in Germany and I was in my friend's house in their little bathroom. I had this big window open in there and this big skylight. And from the shower, because their curtains are different, you could just see out this whole window. And it was just like this beautiful, like, sunset, but it looked like the sun was like coming down. And the song was playing off my phone on the little edge. And I was like, oh, this song is just like this trip. And so every time I
So
hear it,
are you saying it? Do you actually mean that it imprinted itself
yeah,
with the whole trip?
It
In other
did.
words, it's kind of woven into every memory that you have?
when I think about that trip, this song comes to mind in so many parts of it. And when I hear this song, all I can think about is the trip. Like they're woven together. And I didn't expect that to happen.
Yeah.
But anyways, so oopsies, let me pop this on.
Are you also subtly implying or suggesting that this is the reason that you now have your current boyfriend is because he
No.
locked in by sending you the song that
No.
was locked into your great trip?
You know what? No.
I don't know. It seems a
But
little
that was like
bit
very well
subtle.
timed for him, I believe. He definitely knew what he was doing. Yeah, that was honestly great play by him. I'll give him that one.
That's good game.
That's
Yeah,
great
that's good game.
I
Okay.
fear, yeah. This is the song. It's called "Why Is It Light Out?" By the Kilans. Kilans. I don't know how to pronounce the band title. That's an arguable topic between my boyfriend and I for sure. I say the Kilans or the Kilans. It's Kilans. But why is it light out? It's genuinely like of 2024. I think this was like one of my top songs, and like holds a special place in my heart to the point where if I'm like driving and I have like a shuffle on and it starts playing and I'm not having just like a peak day or I'm not like in a great mood, I skip it because I don't want the song to be tarnished. And it's so
Wow.
stupid, but I do, and I have no shame.
No, that's not stupid. I heard a study. I heard someone talking about a study on a podcast about what they're learning about the brain and memories and where they live in our brain, and that they think that it's almost like every time you access it, you might be able to tarnish it with whatever your current mood
Yeah,
or state or stuff is in, and that it'll like kind of change that memory permanently just a
yeah,
little bit every time. But I don't know if that's fully true or not. But it sort of holds true with what you're saying if you don't want to change what that song means or holds. Okay,
100%.
I have something quick to say before you tell me more about why you love the song, maybe. But I get a lot of comments that people enjoy you and I doing this thing. It's a nice surprise. They, of course, are under this obvious guise that you and I are super close and we love music and we share everything together. So, just so everybody knows, things aren't perfect in La La Land. You've never, ever shared this song with me before. How can we be this close doing this podcast and then if I hadn't come up with this theme, you would never have told me this song that means so incredibly much to you.
Okay, hear me out though. Let's say we're driving to the gym in the morning. I play it, and you're like, "Yeah, it's all right." I actually think my heart would like start cracking, and like falling into my
Oh my
chest.
goodness. Okay, so
I
this
can do
is
it.
yeah, this song this song is like a very like it's like when you would have made me some ceramic pottery candle
Yes.
holder in grade 3 and now I have to tuck it away and not let anybody see it or even handle it again because it's probably going to break the first time I touch it.
Yeah. Yeah. See, that's the
Okay, I
thing.
get it.
Maybe this is why I was saying gatekeep, and that was the wrong term. It's not that I want to gatekeep it. It's I don't want it to be ruined.
You're fiercely protecting it for
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
and what it means to you.
100%.
Okay,
I will say I
that's
did
fair.
post it once, very briefly, on my Instagram story when I was in Europe. I posted a video of like it was like me laying on like one of the beds I was staying in, and then just like getting up and having my phone just like kind of outwardly go through the window, and then it was just like skyscape and sunset, and it's called Why Is It Light Out, and it just fit. Um, but
Yeah.
I probably had this story up for 4 or 5 hours, and then I deleted it. I didn't want to share.
Okay, so this is a high risk move for you
I
then.
know. I
Everything
was
you've
like,
just described.
if
Are you in
anyone,
immediate regret right now?
you know what? No, because I actually talked through this with my boyfriend before I chose it because I was like, I'm nervous. But I was like, no, because if any of your friends don't like it, don't tell me. And if they tell me, then it's obvious that we just can't be friends with them anymore. And that's just that, I think. Also, all the rest of their songs are good. They don't have a lot out. They're going on their first tour right now without their first album out, which is kind of fire. So I
So
will
it's
say, check
the
them out.
Kilans,
Yeah.
and it's important that we spell this again for people because I would probably look at this and think just Kilans, and but it's kill like with one L, so it's
Yeah.
Kilans. It
Yeah.
almost looks like it would be a family name, like
Right?
a weird family name, but yeah, so it looks like it's just the Kilans, Kilans. So if people want to look it up, we will put the song, of course, on our Spotify playlist
Yeah.
and in the show notes if people access those wherever they're listening to the podcast if they want to look it up. Or it'll be on the website too, maybe eventually.
Yeah.
So, well, that's fantastic. In fact, that's incredible backstory, twist and turn there,
Thank
and that
you.
you bravely put that song out. I
Yeah.
absolutely love it.
Brave is a really good word.
Okay. Brave is a really good word for that. I appreciate courage. Okay, then
Album.
let's switch things over to album. You know how I wrestle with this. I actually
Yeah.
pinpointed my wrestling match with this, which is just the modern change in music and how we listen is that we don't listen to albums as albums much anymore.
Yeah.
And we kind of have talked about this. And so albums that I can quickly access as like pillars or memorable or ones I think everybody should know, like the way I shared the last one with the War on Drugs.
Right.
Those are easy for me, but they're in the past. Like they're
Yeah.
either a little or a long ways back, and I have an endless amount. So if I wanted to access that pool of albums, I have all kinds, but it feels so dated to me. So I started really trying to think, what is something that I just couldn't stop listening to? And then that joy to me of an album is when you start playing it and you have no desire to turn it off once you've heard the song or something like that, right? Like it's just that they so that one for me, when I really took a look at it, and is also a 2024 release, which I absolutely loved.
Oh.
So probably in my top 5 best indie rock songs of the last 5 or more years.
Okay.
So I saw you just have your eyes kind of roll back. In other words, you're already trying to think.
Trying to think of
You
it.
should be able to probably know what those are. The best song, one of the best songs, top 5 for me, indie rock songs in the last 5 years, I would give anybody in a heartbeat, is Surefire by
I was gonna say
Wilderado.
that.
And endlessly listened to that song.
Yeah.
It ends up in my Spotify top couple list for the last few years. So last year they released a new album called Talker. They really slowballed that release. It was like song, and then 5-song EP going into the summer. And I listened to that 5-song EP religiously through the summer, as you know, and then they released the full album, I think, and I absolutely love it. So it's called Talker. It's by the band Wilderado, who I think is just an underappreciated band, probably still. I find very few people in my circles who know about them. Maybe that's the reason they never seem to come and play shows or tour in Canada, which is kind of killing me.
Yeah.
And so the reason I'll tell everybody that I love this band so much is I'm a sucker for indie rock, of course. But there is like the song Surefire is big, right?
Yeah.
It gets to a nice, big, happy feeling. Like very few songs make me just feel as good when that one hits the chorus.
Yeah.
Which is what almost like any pop song or great rock song does. But what the band really does well, actually, to me, is create lots of grooves, lots of subtle momentum without having to be heavy-handed in anything. They don't get super loud with their guitars. They don't get massively layered. They don't have these ridiculously layered background vocals all the time. But they put together the simple pieces so well every single time they do a song. It seems that they just find a groove and an idea and a little hook. And those are really the building blocks of any great song. So what I'm saying is I think that this band has, for me, kind of figured that out. And when you can feel it on an album. So like the first song is the title track, Talker. And then the second song is Bad Luck, which I really like. And then the fourth song is called Higher Than Most, I really like. And then the sixth song is called In Between, which is maybe my second or third favorite. And then the eighth song is called Sometimes, and I think that's my second or third, maybe second favorite on the album. And then the song Tomorrow. Anyhow, I absolutely love, and that's down to song 9. So you're getting consistently an album like that. And I don't get that anymore with a lot of these great bands, like really great bands and great songs. But anyhow, so those are the things that appeal to me in an album. And there's something about their particular style of doing it that is continuing to grow on me year after year. And I think that's the album for me. So
I love that.
Yeah.
I literally, as you just said something, I'm not going to tell you what, but you said a key phrase in there that when you and I were talking about, like, kind of back in December or January when we were doing Spotify Wrapped, we were talking about, like, what makes, like, our top albums or top songs, and we both decided on something, and now I know what I'm going to say next episode for my album. So we can record whenever, because...
You're ready to go right after this?
As soon as, yeah, no, literally as soon as you said that, because when we were talking about it a few months back, you brought up this album and a different one, and I had brought up a certain album about, like, how the whole thing, you can just listen, and there's, like, zero complaints. Like, you know, a lot of albums have, like, that 1 or 2 songs where you need to skip it. We were talking about that.
Yeah.
How this one, this one that you just mentioned doesn't, and the one I'm gonna say. Love that.
You want to hear an old man's music story, or an older generational experience with the skip a song? This is how you sort of can 3 or 4x that frustration, which is when all my music came on cassette tapes.
Oh.
So it's like the wound tape, right?
Yeah.
And they would have the same as now. They would have this average of 10 songs, 11, 12 songs on a release.
Yeah.
And a cassette tape would have 5 or 6 on one side and 5 or 6 on the second side. And the worst was if the last song on side A, or side B for that matter, maybe even worse on side B, if the last song sucked and you wanted to just flip the cassette over, which you had to go walk over and manually hit eject and then pop and turn around and then press play again. But then it won't be at the very start, and then you got to do a rewind and it wouldn't be ready. And it was just so frustrating if the skip a song was going to mess with your ability to just keep flowing on into the next song you wanted to hear. Because the first song on either side was always good, right? Yeah. They knew how to map it out. Anyhow. Old man first world problems. That's what we'll categorize that as.
Love that.
Okay. I love it too. Okay. Well, thank you. I love that. The Kilans, or however we're going to figure, maybe we'll do some Googling and figure out how to.
We need to.
Properly, and we could follow up with that. And then Wilderado's album talker.
Yes.
Our picks this week. And I thought I was going to slide in because we were talking about it. We're prepping for. Starting to prep to get ready for one of our favorite things where we live in Edmonton with our Folk Fest and the lineup. And I swear I'm not going to miss anything great this year without I have so many regrets in other years.
Don't believe
which
you
is
at
my
all.
Well, Lexi, this is my Easter egg into next week's episode. You just gave me an Easter egg about your pick. My Easter egg is going to be that, and
I know it's gonna be
the other cool thing is that I've been talking to some folks about some other music events and festivals, and maybe having some almost famous enough appearances as such, and as a result, I'm getting introduced to some new kind of local Western Canada-ish up and coming Canadian artists.
Oh yeah.
And I talked to you about one this morning, so I'm just going to drop, since this is us just saying artists and recommendations to people who listen, that in all the things I've been coming across the last little while, there's a voice that stood out to me, and his name's Noah Derksen. He's from somewhere here in Canada. I have to figure it out, but it's that new and fresh on me. Noah, how you normally spell Noah, and then Derksen, like Derksen. Canadian artist Noah Derksen. He's the one that was playing those cover songs in the car. Yeah. And my reference point for people will be the voice of Ray LaMontagne, which is one of the most unique voices, period, that I've ever heard. And so I think people should check out that guy's music that I came across. So yeah. Okay, that's it. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much for your time, as always. And I'm looking forward to our last part of the series for number 4. So
it's gonna be a fun one.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Woohoo. Okay, bye. Love you.
Love you too.